Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well. Today is episode 7, and my final episode of my Platinum Randomizer Hardcore Nuzlocke challenge. All I have to do today is get through Victory Road, and then it's to challenge the Pokemon League, and if I can get through that, I finish the run. Whether I win or wipe, I just want to say I really enjoyed this run. Yeah, I definitely had some burnout in the middle of it, but I'm honestly really happy I got to finish it. We're going to go through Route 223, and I catch Kyle the Shieldon. I climb the waterfall to take me to Victory Road, and it's time to get through some trainers. The first 5 or so trainers weren't an issue, but the difficulty went up when I had to face against veteran Clayton. I had to switch around Staraptor because it was dealing a lot of damage. But I was able eventually to kill it by Brave Bird Recoil. Up next was his Licky Licky, and Ashwell deals good damage with a Wake Up Slap, but I didn't want to stay in for fear of a low roll on the next hit, so I switch into Manjet. A Discharge just misses out on the KO, and Licky Licky kills Manjet with an Earthquake. Manjet carried us a lot during the late game, and it sucks to see him go. I didn't even know that Licky Licky had Earthquake. But before I can readjust my team, I run into a double battle against Al and Kay, where I suffer another loss. This time, it's against Beto Pair, who gets ganged up by a double hit and then a close combat. I was able to finish the battle, but I can feel myself crumbling under the pressure because I'm so close to the end of this run. See, I tend to struggle against the Elite Four in the champion fights as I tend to overthink things, and I'm hoping I don't end up in this same situation again. Well, I haven't gotten my encounter in Victory Road yet because I kept hitting a lot of duplicates, but eventually I find a new one, and that's for Rhydon. It has really strong moves at this level, so I have to be careful while switching around trying to catch it. Unfortunately, Cadvan dies to a Rock Blast. I got so fed up with this, I just used my Master Ball to catch it, and Fallen Order joins the team. Honestly, I'm kind of kicking myself because I should have just used the Master Ball to begin with because this was my last encounter. I don't think I was going to use Cadvan or Beto Pair on the Elite Four, but Cadvan really pulled through from the middle to the late game and was one of my favorites on the team, so this one really hurt a lot. Luckily, I don't suffer any more casualties, and I reach the Pokemon League. I go ahead and fight Garrett one last time. Orlando takes out Staraptor. Ashwell tries to beat Snorlax, but they both get in the red, and Ashwell is paralyzed. So I switch into Orange Remy. Garrett surprisingly switches into Heracross. This has been the most I've seen the AI in Platinum actually make switches. Like, this has been 3 so far. This is insane. I risked Teflo on a crit close combat. He's bold nature, so I thought he could take it more, but turns out he couldn't. Luckily I don't get punished, and Teflo proceeds to KO Heracross, Roserade, Snorlax, and Victreebel. Rapidash is the last of Garrett's Pokemon, so I switch into Kingpin, who's able to get the KO with 2 close combats. With Garrett beaten for the final time, I spend a good while prepping my final team for the Elite Four, but with the power of editing, you guys don't need to wait on this, so I'll be back in a second. Alright guys, I'm back. I went through all of my team members, and this is what I came up with. Up first is Fallen Order the Rhyperior. Next is Kingpin the Infernape. A new guy joins in for the final gauntlet, and it's Benji the Mantine, JW Kangler the Ludicolo, Teflo the Alakazam, and finally, Orange Remy the Drapion. Let's see if these 6 and I have what it takes to beat this Platinum Randomizer. Okay, here we go. Up first is Aaron and his bug types. He leads with Yanmega, and I lead with Fallen Order. Yanmega uses a double team, but with our held wide lens, Fallen Order is able to land a Stone Edge for the KO. Next is Scizor. I switch into Kingpin on a resisted Iron Head. Kingpin then gets the one-shot with a Flamethrower. This brings out Aaron's ace, which is Drapion. Fallen Order comes back in on a resisted Aerial Ace, and then tanks an Ice Fang. While super effective, it doesn't do a lot of damage to Fallen Order, and then he gets the KO with an Earthquake. Heracross comes in and is easily the scariest Pokemon on Aaron's team for me. Not learning from my battle with Garrett, I switch in Teflo again on a close combat that if it crits, I would have lost him immediately. But again, I'm not punished, and am rewarded with Teflo outspeeding and KOing with Psychic. Lastly is Vespiquen, and I switch into Fallen Order, who I clearly brought in for this battle. He tanks an attack order, and then he gets the KO with one last Stone Edge, winning our battle against Aaron. Bertha is going to be the easiest member of the Elite Four for me. JW Kangler gets KOs on Wishcash and Rhyperior. Hippowdon comes in next and sets up the Sandstorm. I can't have that up, so I spend a turn using Rain Dance, and Hippowdon misses with their Stone Edge. We're just going to run away the game with this at this point. JW then gets the one shot on Bertha's team with Surfs, as they're not able to do anything else. That's 2 Elite Four members down, and 2 to go. Flint and his fire types are next. Kingpin starts us off by KOing Houndoom with a close combat. Flint brings out his own Infernape next, and I switch into Benji on an Earthquake. Benji baits Thunder Punch, so I switch into Fallen Order. This then baits Earthquake, and I go back into Benji. I do the switch rotation with Benji and Fallen Order to use up Infernape's Earthquake PP. Once he's out of Earthquakes, Fallen Order is able to stay in. But we get unlucky, and Fallen Order gets burned from a Flare Blitz. Fallen Order does eventually get the kill, but because he got burned, he's effectively out of the fight. Rapidash is out next, and I switch back into Kingpin. Close combat just misses out on the KO, but Rapidash goes for Bounce. Fortunately, I have Protect, making the 2-turn bounce useless. Kingpin gets the KO afterwards. Flareon comes out, and I switch into Benji on Overheat. He was going to get the 2-hit KO, but Flareon gets the burn. So I switch into JW Kangler on the expected heal from Flint. This allows me to set up Rain Dance, and then JW just proceeds to KO both Flint's Flareon and Magmortar. So we only have one more member before Cynthia. Lucian and his Psychic types was always going to be the hardest for me. He leads with Mr. Mime, and I lead with Orange Remy. Mr. Mime spends his 2 turns setting up screens, and I use my turn setting up a double layer of Toxic Spikes. After setting up spikes and timing my protects, Orange Remy is able to get the KO on Mr. Mime just as both Reflect and Light Screen end. Lucian brings out his Bronzong next, and it has Earthquake, so I switch into Benji. Lucian, 2 steps ahead of me, decides to use Calm Mind instead, which gets me really scared. I decide to keep Benji in just to try to get some Surf damage in, and he actually gets a crit and just outright KOs Bronzong, so sweet, I got lucky there. Gallade is out next and is Lucian's ace. He comes in, getting badly poisoned by the Toxic Spikes. I switch into Fallen Order on a Stone Edge. I try to switch back and forth again between Fallen Order and Benji, but apparently I'm just baiting Leaf Blade, so I take some unnecessary damage. But because of the Poison Chip, when I switch into Orange Remy, Gallade just dies to poison damage in the end. Orange Remy is able to tank a Focus Blast from Lucian's Alakazam to get the KO with a Crunch. And lastly is his Espeon. I switch back and forth to Kingpin and Orange Remy baiting Psychic so that Orange Remy can heal with leftovers. Eventually, we heal just enough to where Orange Remy gets the KO with 2 crunches. And that takes care of the Elite Four, and I get to battle Cynthia with a full team. Let's get this done. This is the very last battle of the run. I want to keep my full team alive, but if I have to let some party members die so that we get the win in the end, so be it. Cynthia starts with Spirit Tomb, and I lead with Orange Remy. Orange Remy gets the double layer of Toxic Spikes set up again, protecting every other turn to waste Silver Wind PP. Once I get my Toxic Spikes up, it's just multiple turns of hitting back and forth until Spirit Tomb falls. Up next is Cynthia's ace, Garchomp. He gets badly poisoned due to spikes. I switch into Benji on an Earthquake, and then we protect for another turn of poison damage. I switch into Fallen Order on a Dragon Rush, who baits another Earthquake. 2 more turns of switching into Benji and then protecting was all I need for Garchomp to fall to poison damage. While maybe not the most honorable, it's Cynthia's Garchomp. I will do whatever it takes to win this, and I'm not above poison damage. Up next is Togekiss. I switch into Fallen Order on a Shockwave. I was hoping Fallen Order could survive at least 1 hit to land a Stone Edge, but tragically, he dies to an Aura Sphere. Well, I bring in Orange Remy who lands a Poison Jab and gets the poison. She's not doing enough damage, so after a Protect and another Poison Jab for Chip, Orange Remy falls to a Focus Blast. Thank you for setting up the kill on Garchomp. I bring out Kingpin, and even though Cynthia heals with Togekiss, Kingpin still outspeeds and gets the 2-shot with a Flamethrower. Milotic comes out next and gets poisoned. I protect, and then switch into Benji. It takes several turns, but Benji is able to beat Milotic thanks to the poison damage. But he's down to 41 HP. Cynthia brings out Lucario and kills Benji with an extreme speed. Kingpin comes out, and both he and Lucario put each other in the red with a Flamethrower and an Aura Sphere. This is where I make a crucial mistake. Fearing the extreme speed, I decide to protect, but Cynthia heals. This puts me in a very bad situation. Not knowing what to do, I just try to get more damage in, but Lucario kills Kingpin with an extreme speed. I bring in JW Kangler. Lucario hits with a Stone Edge, as JW Kangler deals okay damage with Surf. Lucario misses their second Stone Edge, and JW puts him in the red with another Surf. We can get this, we can get the KO. However, this is like the 3rd or 4th time now. Cynthia makes another read and she switches Lucario into Roserade on a resisted Surf. I switch into Tefalo, who just barely tanks a Sludge Bomb, and he fortunately gets the KO with a Psychic. Cynthia then brings out her last Pokemon, which is, as expected, Lucario, and he just gets the kill on Tefalo with an extreme speed. RIP, man. And thank you for all the sweeps and, weirdly, the Heracross tanking you had to do. We are at the last turn. My last Pokemon, JW Kangler, the Ludicolo, and Cynthia's Lucario. If Lucario hits the Stone Edge and also crits, the run is over and I lose. Stone Edge hits, but it doesn't crit. JW Kangler survives on 28 HP, he lands a Surf and knocks out the Lucario. This wins us not only a champion fight, but the run. What an intense ending. I am so proud of my team and how they performed. As the credits roll, I just want to say thank you to anyone who watched this series, whether it was from the beginning or just on this last episode. I really feel like every episode I'm doing, I'm slowly improving, like the quality of my videos as well as how I do these runs, and I'm enjoying them a lot. Randomizers has to be one of, if not my favorite way to play Pokemon. I really just like randomizing the Pokemon I get because even though I've played Platinum numerous times, it always feels like a new experience. And Platinum is one of my favorite Pokemon games to play because I feel like it is, while not the hardest Pokemon game, I think it's a very fair challenge. Like, I really appreciate this game, and I really like how unique this run was for me. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I don't have a script to read, but seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to anyone who've watched this and took a time to like. And if you really enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. There will be a new series coming up actually pretty soon. It's already recorded. I just gotta start making episodes for it now. If people are gonna like it, it's gonna be Mariomon. I really liked it, and I think people will like this kind of run I did with it. So tune in for that, and I hope everyone has a great day. See you next time.